Hello, everyone. I hope you can see and hear me. Do let me know in the chat whether it's true. I can see that more and more people are joining today's seminar, and I'm very grateful that you've chosen to come and join me here and not go out and enjoy this absolutely extraordinarily miserable day, as I can see it from my window. So today, I would like to continue talking about health. Some of you might have been to my previous seminar, which was held in London in person last year, where I talked about health and well-being for linguists. And I shared my model of how to look after your eating habits, how to move, look after your mental health, and so on and so forth. So obviously, I don't expect every one of you to have been there. I can see that it's already triple the number of participants today. But I will repeat certain points from my last year's talk here, but we'll go a little bit further than that. I have a couple of things to say before I move to my talk. You can see that you have a chart there, which you are very actively using. I can see. I can't guarantee that I will read everything on the chart because otherwise it will interrupt my presentation. However, you also have a Q&A option, Q&A button on your screen. It should be positioned somewhere next to your chat button. So please do use this one if you have a particular question you want me to answer. I'll look at the Q&A list towards the end of my session, and I'll leave some time there to answer your questions. And of course, I will share my contact details in case you have questions which you will want to ask more privately after our session today. So first, I will want to introduce myself. My name is Ignaty Dyakov Richmond. I live in Leamington Spa in Warwickshire after I've moved here from London. I am a linguist. I have around 20 years of experience teaching languages primarily, but also writing textbooks and doing occasional translation. I work mostly with adults, although I do teach in secondary settings as well, occasionally. But 5 years ago, I had cancer. It was tongue cancer, and that's why you can hear this funny accent or funny way of me speaking now, because my tongue is no longer what it used to be 5 years ago. This cancer experience, as with many other people, actually was probably a more positive experience than it could look like. And it triggered my interest in health and well-being. So for the past 5 years, I've researched a lot about health. I did my coaching training with the University of Warwick. I traveled to the Himalayas twice, stayed there for a few months, went to Thailand and studied certain complementary therapies there. So throughout 5 years, I accumulated a number of skills and definitely a lot of knowledge in Western approach to health, but also Eastern approach to what our wellness, what our well-being is about. So after I came back to the UK, I moved out of London. I set up my coaching practice in Leamington. And alongside that, I started delivering talks similar to what I'm doing today. So today, I thought I would have two options of what to do with all of you here. Option one, oh, sorry, too quick. Option one would be for me to ask you to open your notepads and take out your cameras and then give you a list, massive list of healthy foods, drinks, exercise, brand names, supplements, tests to take, etc., etc. I could present you a number of charts and graphs and tables and drawings. And then I would provide figures and statistics and names of studies to complement those charts, graphs, and tables. I could strongly advise you to read a dozen or a couple of dozens of books on lifestyle and wellness, or this weekend and definitely up to Christmas, because time is crucial for us. We have to get healthy right now. I can recommend you to stay alert and note down every single concern you have about your health. I can urge you to download a number of very, very useful apps. And of course, I can insist you to buy a number of gadgets to monitor every single area of your health. Sounds appealing, I hope. But there is another option. Option number two. I give you my PayPal account. You transfer £299.95 into it. And I give you full indulgence, as people in the Middle Ages used to give. I say to you, you are awesome. And I say to you as well, you do everything fine, just fine. And I also say to you, according to scientific evidence, humans are mortal. And I can put it in plain English for some of you, saying we all die. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Option number two. But if we paraphrase the children's song, Going on a Bear Hunt, we can't go option number one. We can't go option number two. Oh no, we have to go option number three. And option number three will be, if technology allows, for me to share my screen and suggest directions you might move to achieve your personal optimal health. And then to harness the power of all our collective thinking in this group, there are almost 200 people here, and see what suggestions we can give to one another to stay healthy and to enjoy healthy living. From time to time, I will be referring to the science of Ayurveda. And again, if technology allows me. I'll introduce what Ayurveda is. It is a 3,000-old and probably one of the oldest holistic healing systems. It suggests that health depends on a delicate balance between our body, our mind, and our spirit. It also suggests that we cannot be healthy if our environment is not healthy, and vice versa. It talks about personalized approach. There is no single option which will be good for all of us. There is no average person. All of us need personalized approach. And then it says that you don't have to be doing things right 100% of times. You can indulge yourself in certain things. You can do certain naughty things as long as they don't tilt the balance, And 70% of your time, 70% of your food, 70% of your sleep is being done right. So I'll briefly introduce, or rather reintroduce, my model, which I talked about last year and about which I talk in various blogs I write. So you might want to Google my name later on and check in further detail what the model is about. I call it MILS, which stands for Move, Eat, Apply, Love, and Sleep. So very briefly now, I will talk about directions you might want to move in each of these areas. And then I will be asking you to think and to put into chart your suggestions, what you might be doing already, so that all of us can benefit from your wisdom. So please do be active on the chat and do share your experience as well within one of these areas. So the first area is M, which stands for movement. Movement is not the same as exercise. Movement is all and every single move you can make. It's all about stretching, keeping your posture, walking, running, doing some sort of exercise, but also carrying shopping, going cycling, doing some, I mean, one of my favorite options is to read on the floor, right? If you imagine and you have no cushions, no chairs, and you try to sit on the floor and read, inevitably you will start moving. Yeah, within one page of text, you will probably change your position several times. And this is sort of movement I'm talking about. We need to ensure that our muscles are constantly engaged, that they are constantly stretching, changing their position. And this movement should be regular and varied. A lot of us are freelancers who are involved in work in front of our computers, and it's not particularly varied activity. We will probably sit on chairs for long periods of times and stare at our screens. That's quite the opposite of what regular and varied movement is. What can you do right now, whilst I'm talking, what can you do right now to change this perspective? So if you're sitting on the sofa now or on your chair and listen to this and look at the screen, what can you do right now to change that, to incorporate some movement into your life at this very present moment? Do share in chat so that others can see what it can be. Right, so stretching it is, yes, putting your feet up. Excellent. Rolling your ankles, very good. Oh, brilliant. A lot of air, making cup of tea, as long as your kitchen is the other side of your flat. Brilliant. Yoga poses. Lots and lots of options there. And they're all about imagination, aren't they? They're all about thinking out of the box what can be done to change our position. Right? At the moment, I have a certain setup here, so I can't really move much. But if I were working, I would stand up and I would stand in front of my computer. I would probably move on the rug down there and do work lying on the rug, typing and thinking along the way. Fantastic. Gym ball, that's good. Yes, gym balls are great to sit on and do your to get your core exercised. All right, so we move to the next area, which is E for eating, and a lot has been talked about eating, and I really don't want to spend too much time here on that because especially at the moment, everyone talks about nutrition, what we should do for our gut health. What I want to do, though, is to just give you direction. And direction is that our eating habits should be scheduled, right? We have to come up with a particular timings which will work for us individually. It's no good to say that every single person has to have 3 meals a day if it doesn't work for us, for our particular circumstances. But scheduling around around your other activities, scheduling your meal times is absolutely crucial. It's all about varied, your diet to be varied. It can be varied colors, it can be varied tastes, it can be varied shapes of food, yeah, varied texture of food. So as much as you can incorporate a variety of things into your diet. Ideally, you want these things to be wholesome. Yeah, so whole food is very much in vogue now, and for the right reasons, because in the last few decades, we shifted from whole foods to ultra processed food. So whole food is absolutely paramount. And in fact, it can help your pocket as well. Ultra processed food normally cost more than whole food. Plant-based, I'm not talking about moving completely vegan. I did, but you might want to just increase your plant intake. And then we're talking about rationing your food. Yeah, so to ensure that you don't eat too much, but you don't eat too often either. So if we imagine, we might want to choose to have a 12-hour fast in every 24-hour period. Normally, it will be our night time. Yeah, so 12 hours is very achievable. Some people can stretch it up to 16-hour fast, but there should be a period of fasting, which we will break with our breakfast. And it's up to you to decide what time you want your breakfast. And then until lunch, ideally, we don't want to snack. Yes, I mean, a lot of marketing at the moment is about healthy snacking, ensuring that your energy levels don't drop. But snacking is not particularly healthy as a concept anyway. So healthy snack or not healthy snack, we should look at it a little bit more holistically and think, why do we need snacking? What is missing in our breakfast, lunches and dinners if we require snacks in between? So, and again, between lunch and dinner, do we really need these snacks? Do our children need snacks? If they go to school, do they really have to have these snack breaks? Or something should be changed at school time as well, where they will have a proper, wholesome breakfast and wholesome lunch? So my question to you here will be, what can you do to incorporate healthful habits to enhance your eating? What would you do? Again, any suggestions? I can see intermittent fasting. Yes, absolutely. That's what I was talking about with 12 hours or 16 hours fasting a day. Anything else? Seasonal fasting, yeah, eating seasonal foods as well. Plant-based milks. That's right. Yeah, plant-based drinks, we can call them. That's right. Anything else? Stop eating meat at least once a day, one day a week. Fantastic. Preparing your meals, preparing your planned meals. Yeah, plan your meals in advance. Very, very good. So local, seasonal, planned, careful planning. That's right. Excellent. The next area of our meals methodology is A, standing for apply. Skin is our largest organ. It's the organ which normally works extremely hard, and it's very, very efficient in what it's doing in preventing things getting into our body. It's a very, very good barrier, but it shouldn't really be abused. And here, I think two rules we can follow. One is less is more. Less we apply onto our skin, the better. Do we actually need to apply anything? What do you think? No. Okay. So what is the own sunscreen? Yes, and in particular weather, maybe not today, but overall, yes, over 364 hours, days a year, absolutely. Yes, we can apply certain oils if we have dry skin. Yeah, so just single ingredient creams or single ingredient moisturizers to help our skin do what it normally does very well, but what it cannot do because of the environment around us, because of the houses we live in, because of pollution outside. Yeah, so certain things which we can, which will help our skin to do its job properly. But more importantly, yes, we want to wash it to ensure that it is clean, that there are no particular barriers on top of the skin. But do we want to wash every single day? Do we need to shower every single day, especially as people who do desk jobs? Okay, yes. Any other answers? Personally, yes, exercise daily. That's right. So that for you potentially it is the answer. Okay. Yeah. Being fresh and clean is definitely feels good. The question is there, what can be the challenges and what can be the negatives of washing? And one of them can be that we actually can remove particularly useful oils from our skin. It can dry our skin. It can stop it to work properly. And that's where we kind of start the reaction of using moisturizers, creams, etc. So as a rule of thumb, unless you exercise a lot or you had a particular difficult day or week, we don't really need to wash more than 3 times a week. Yeah, so every other day. And even if we need a quick wash every day, we might want to consider washing with just warm water, yeah, or rather tepid water, rather than using shampoo, soaps, and so on. So water is our friend, but if it is pure, nice, cooler water. Another thing is, of course, what we're wearing. Yeah, how things which we put on ourselves help or prevent us from staying healthy, how they help or prevent our skin do the right thing for our health. Yeah, so natural materials normally are advisable. Yeah, it can be anything: hemp, linen, cotton are among the most known ones. But of course, in our climates here, it's also wool, cashmere, if you're non-vegans. And we try to avoid anything synthetic close to our skin, right? So even if we need to go for synthetic and thicker layers, they should be positioned further away from our skin. That's right, silk, linen, cotton, very, very good. So less is more and natural things. We are moving next to our next area, which is love. And it's love which we give away, but it's also love to ourselves. Yeah, there is this famous analogy when you are on the airplane. I know that it's not possible at the moment, but normally when you're on the airplane, we were told that we have to use the mask first, and then we put the mask onto our children or those who need help. Right? But the same thing applies to love. Let's love ourselves, then love others. We cannot love others if we don't understand what love is through ourselves. So give yourself time to understand yourselves. Give yourself time to figure out for yourself what you need, what what's important for you at this moment. And don't rush. Yeah, slowing down is good. And it's not it's not strange so far that we love vintage things these days, right? So we long for 1950s, 1960s. Some people long for even earlier times because life was slower then, and this slower pace of life actually allows us to be more present and to be here for ourselves, but also for others. Listen to your intuition. Intuition is the most important tool you have to help yourself be healthful and be helpful. So try to uncover it from layers upon layers of things which are expected from you, which are being sold to you, and think about what you can hear from within yourself. And then once you've heard yourself, once you've heard what you need, indulge yourself in it. It can be simple things, and most likely these will be simple things. Yeah, talking to your friends, talking to your loved ones, spending time with your pets, listening to music, enjoying a nice drink, uh, going for a walk, or creating things, writing, or playing music. So all the simplest things in life, these are the things which we normally crave. Our ancestors were foragers, as we know, and they used to work around 35 hours a week, if that. Besides, of course, they didn't have many household chores, right? So they lived extremely simple lives, which didn't require as much involvement from them as our current lives require of us. And I'm not saying that we should get back to wearing skins and going foraging, but it's something we can learn from our ancestors who lived actually relatively long lives as we do now. I mean, it's they lived probably around 60, 70 years. The child mortality was high, but if you managed to live through your childhood, then you would expect to live 60 to 70 years, and relatively slow and enjoyable life where you didn't need to rush to work, you didn't need to do lots of household chores, but you could indulge yourself in music, indulge yourself in conversations with your fellow tribe members, and so on and so forth. So let's just remind ourselves that actually this life previously was a nice life. So what's there, what you can incorporate into your life to give yourself this self-love? What is there which you like, or maybe you already enjoy indulging yourself in? So let's share some ideas so that others can maybe pick up a few more ideas. So dancing, that's right. Walking, excellent. Creativity, yoga, fantastic. Appreciating nature, yeah, just noticing things, noticing what's around us, noticing sounds, noticing smells, noticing sights, hiking, swimming. All of these so far, meditation, they're all very simple, very basic in the best sense of this word, activities, which don't cost a fortune to engage in. The last area I want to talk about is sleep, which I believe works as a multiplier for the previous four areas. If we have enough sleep, we have better areas of, we live better. We enjoy our food more, we enjoy our work, we enjoy our restful time. And during sleep, we detoxify. During sleep, we relax. During sleep, we come up with creative solutions to our life, to our work. And this essentially without sleep, the rest of the things will not be as powerful. They will not be as energetic as they could have been. So to get your good quality sleep, you don't really need much. Again, uh, you don't need much equipment. You don't need many of the gadgets or apps or anything. They can be useful, but you don't need all of it or none of it. What you might want to do is to have your evening routine and to have your morning routine and have fixed times for those. And these fixed times should be consistent and should be the same, whether it is a weekday or weekend, right? Our nature doesn't distinguish between weekends and weekdays. There is no such a thing as 7 days, 6 days of work, 1 day of freedom, 1 day of rest. It should be continuous. So if you decide that you go to bed at certain time, you go at this time to bed, or if you sleep on the floor, even better. And then you wake up early. Yeah, somebody says that waking up early is a good thing. That's right. And in between these two periods of going to bed and waking up, you ensure that you sleep in complete darkness, which means no blinking lights, no gadgets, no lights from outside. Yeah, a lot of us live in urban areas where light is continuous. So investing in eye mask is the most cost-effective solution you can come up with. But what else can you do to ensure that your night's sleep is good? What other things can you use to help you? I will share whilst you are sharing in the chat, I will share what I normally do. I do have an excuse now. That's my excuse, but not of all of my routines work. This particular excuse is 2 months old, but hopefully when she's a bit older, we'll manage to get to our proper evening routines, which stand as having supper 2 or 3 hours before going to bed. We make our golden milk, which is essentially plant-based milk with turmeric, ginger, black pepper, and some sweetener of sauce of some sort. It's a nice drink to have if you feel peckish even after supper, but it promotes relaxation. I see that somebody recommends mint and chamomile tea. These are also great things. I tend not to do any strenuous exercise or any strenuous activity all along. Gratitude, and I see that somebody, Sylvie, is doing gratitude as well. So journaling or just bullet pointing moments which I'm grateful for in the previous 24 hours. That's what I do in the evenings. Self-massage, especially massaging my feet and calves. My wife likes bath. I'm not very much a bath type person, but we both enjoy our aromatherapy. So some nice essential oils will be burning in the evening, and of course reading, but reading a book, a paper book rather than reading from the screen. I can see that somebody recommends audiobooks. That's right. An audiobook is definitely a good option in the evening. As is music, right? A good, nice quality music, be it jazz or classical or whatever you prefer, as long as it is relaxing and helping you fall asleep. That's what can be happening in the evening. And then the other thing, of course, is preparing for your morning. So you might want to take some time, and it might be actually part of your ritual. Yeah? It can be a ritual preparing for the morning, thinking of what you want to wear in the morning, what you want to eat in the morning, and what things you will even do to start your day. Of course, your day will not necessarily progress as planned, but your morning can start in the way you plan it from the evening. That is, of course, if you don't have children. And then in the morning, there is another option of morning routine, which starts with stretching. So we would normally stretch even in our bed, and then drinking a glass of warm water. We keep thermos flasks on our bedside tables, and drink around 300 milliliters of warm water, sometimes with lemon, sometimes it's just warm water. And we live in a flat, and we are lucky to have a balcony, so we will go onto the balcony to get some exposure to sunlight. If not to sun, then at least to sunlight. People with gardens might want to go and stand outside and actually get on the ground, ideally barefoot, and this can boost their energy, energize them. And then meditation or journaling in the morning is extremely powerful. Journaling is writing essentially whatever is in your head, so that you offload whatever is on your mind onto the onto the page, and this way you have clearer understanding of what's happening in your life, if it bothers you, or what you might want to do with your life, for example, or what you are grateful about, or what you are what you're generally thinking about, what is there on your mind. And I tend to have no gadgets in the bedroom. So for the first 1 to 2 hours in the morning, there is no gadget which I would pick up and work on. And of course, I will try to delay breakfast till as late as possible. A bit of hunger is absolutely fine. Of course, we don't want to overstretch, and we don't want to we want to ensure that we feel healthily hungry when we sit at the breakfast table. So at this point, let me perhaps get to your questions. Let me see what your questions will be. If I open it, I'll stop sharing my screen for the time being. And questions. So the first question is from Zanna. She asked, yeah, why did I have a tongue cancer? Was it because of smoking? No, it wasn't because of smoking. I never smoked in my life, and I wasn't really a drinker either. I associate this cancer which befell on me with stress of life in London, with stresses of businesses I was engaged in at that moment. Julie is asking, do you have any advice or thoughts on standing desks and chair types, please? My advice would be that you change your position throughout the day. Just standing all the time might not be an option for everyone, especially if we have weak backs. But having some sort of arrangement where you can stand up and you can work standing, that's absolutely definitely a good option. Whether you invest in a desk which will lift itself, or whether you just put a box. I just use a spare box and an empty box, which I put on top of my table, and I put a laptop on it when I want to work. But do remember that standing is only one option, and you can go and lie on the floor, sit on the floor when you work as well. Rebecca is asking why I'm not recommending healthy snacks. Healthy snacks are definitely the better of two evils. Yeah? If you do need a snack, a healthy snack is good. By healthy snack, I mean dry fruit, nuts, oat bars. Yeah, sort of those bars which contain as few ingredients as possible. But at the same time, when we eat, every meal triggers an inflammatory process. In Ayurveda, we call it, we say that Pitta starts, Pitta fire starts when we eat. And in current terms, it's called inflammation. It is healthy inflammation and it's a healthy normal process, but we don't want this inflammation to happen too often. We want to ensure that there is a period when our body doesn't have to be reacting to food. And so having snacking between meals doesn't give us periods of rest, doesn't give our digestive system periods of rest. And that's why snacking ideally we want to avoid, unless of course it's impossible if we are driving somewhere or if we are at work and we know that we don't have time for a proper lunch, when we can have a quick snack. But we do want to ensure that there are significant periods of rest between meals. Any tips for keeping well for those with chronic conditions, especially for these times of working from home full time? Well, such of course, you will need to ensure that you listen to what your doctors say. Uh, I'm a health professional, but I'm not a medical professional. I'm not trained as a medic. So you need to listen to what your doctors tell you. But generally speaking, you do want to ensure that you do what your body wants, right? But not what your body wants because it was influenced by marketing, which bombards us from all sorts of directions. You want to ensure that you listen to your body, to your intuition. If it says to you that you need to eat more often than I've just described, then do so. But ensure that you eat healthy things, healthy for your particular condition. Normally, plant-based foods will be advisable for people with chronic conditions. For people with cancer, it will be avoiding sugary things. There is some research into avoiding kind of decreasing number of dairy products you eat when you have cancer. So look into this research and see what works for you, but also listen to yourself, listen to what you yourself might want to do rather than what is said for people to do. Golden drink recipe, you can go to my website lifesensei.uk and I give a recipe there, or you can just Google golden milk, right? And I use plant-based milks for the golden milks. How do we figure out how many meals we need? Yeah, so on average, we know that people tend to eat 2 to 3 meals a day. According to Ayurveda, it will depend on your body type. Some people will need just 2 meals a day. Some will need 3 or maybe even 5 meals a day, with certain gaps between the meals. So again, you might want to go to an Ayurvedic consultant if that's what you choose to do. Then they will tell you how many meals and what sort of schedule you might want to adhere to. Or again, just listen to your to yourself and experiment. See, for example, for a week, you might want to try eating 3 times a day and see how your body reacts to it. Then either decrease it to 2 times a day or increase it to 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. Just try to experiment and try to carefully listen to what your body says. Any hint to stop snoring? Thanks. Well, I think it's a kind of completely different topic. So yeah, I'm not sure I will be able to do it now. We have literally one minute to go. Which oils do I diffuse in the room before sleeping? Sylvia asks. It varies. I like variety, and I do believe that variety is zest of life. From peppermint and lavender, simple things, to more woody scents like eucalyptus or patchouli. And anything does me. And again, I tried to hear my inner voice, what works for me at this moment. Do ensure that you don't do too much of it. Ensure that it is a very, very light scent. So don't overdo it, especially in your bedroom, because you might be overwhelmed. So incorporate just a little bit of oil, even if you don't know it necessarily. Your sense of scent will do it. I think I have to stop here. There are more questions which I haven't answered, so apologies for that. But thank you very much for being with me today. Thank you for all your suggestions in the chat. I hope that you found them useful as well, because so many people do already so many various useful things that it's a shame that we don't really discuss this much between ourselves. So thank you for that. Thank you for being with me, and I hope you will enjoy further talks at the language show today. And yeah, see you next year.